Well, your introductions are wrapped up. The starting fives for both teams as we're just about ready to get this one started. Hello, everyone. Proud to bring you Wednesday night coverage of the NBA on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan along with Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony. And, of course, David Aldridge is joining us tonight from the sideline. And now the Lakers starting group at the guard position. Russell and Reeves. Moving forward, the star pairing of LeBron and Davis. And it's Hayes in at the
I
five.
think we got a great
And for
product.
Denver,
The only thing I worry about being my boy is drinking all over the Rockets. Because I'm a vodka guy. Okay, but, we do a vodka in the gym. Shout out to Red Wine. It's been cool. It's a very interesting business. When I say interesting, I mean corrupt. It's a 3-tier system. Yeah, it is. But, long as I invest in Alabama, I grew up in a small town outside of Birmingham. I'm always looking to invest in opportunities in Alabama because that'll always be home.
You grew up in a small town. I grew up in a small town, Leeds, Alabama. What was Charles Barkley's childhood like?
Well, Shannon, it's interesting because poor people don't know they're poor. Everybody around you is poor. I have a great mother and grandmother. My mother was a maid. My grandmother worked at the chicken factory. But they did awesome. And, I had 3 brothers. 2 of my brothers have passed away. But, man, we didn't even know we were poor. We lived in the projects. And they worked all the time. But we didn't go without anything. So I've always tried to take care of them when they were alive. But I didn't know, we had everything we needed. We never went hungry. We always had good clothing. And I was so blessed to have a great mother and grandmother. My dad was not in the picture. Okay? Me and my dad, we got along later in life, but in the beginning, I had nothing but animosity and hate toward him. Because he wasn't around, and he didn't do anything for us. And to see my mother and grandmother struggling, bringing up those boys, trying to make sure we got, cleaning people's houses. And my grandmother was crazy. She'd bring 1 million chicken feet home. And for you people who don't know what chicken feet are, they are what they say they are. And, what people don't understand, this is a chicken feet. There's only one piece of meat right here, and you have to eat like 100 of them to get a full meal. She would bring all types of body parts home from the butcher shop all the time. But, I made peace with my dad later in life, and because he died a couple years ago, but we became casual friends. I didn't need a dad by the time we reconnected. But I buried the hatchet because, you can't go through life being angry. Because it just weighs you down. Yes. But I was so fortunate to have a great mother and grandmother.
The forgiveness that you gave him, that was for you. Because he was living his life.
Yes.
You was carrying around something that was weighing you down.
Well, Sean, that was a really traumatic experience in my life when I was in high school. Okay. So
Inside, Murray.
when I got ready, so when
Rebound the Lakers.
there's a couple goals in my basketball career I'm really proud of. Number one, getting my team to the state tournament. My high school had never been to the state tournament. And then getting Auburn to March Madness. Those are 2 of the most important things I've ever done in my life. But to get back to the high school thing, my junior year, we got beat by a better team. My senior year, we were the best team in the state, but I kind of got hurt. And we lost. And I kind of was just so depressed. I kind of stayed in bed for like 2 weeks. I was so bad. The first year get up to the tournament was a big deal. Because they had never been before. Next year, I'm going to bring the first state championship to my high school. And then because I just went into a deep depression. So I got behind in all my classes. And I called up in every one of them and said Spanish. First of all, I have no reason why I was taking Spanish in Alabama.
This guy has great durability.
So I called up in all my classes of Spanish, so I didn't graduate. I had to go to summer school. And my dad, who was living in California my whole childhood, flew in, and he ripped me a new and I'm already traumatized that I'm not going to get to March. And when he flew in, at that point I just said, man, I ain't never going to forgive this dude ever again, just yelling at me like this. I was already down.
So how often, prior to him flying in to relieve you from playing in that class, how often
agree. Sometimes that can be a tough call for the refs to make, but not that time. It was easy.
That was like he just came in just for that.
Here's Gordon.
My memory is vaguely, but I don't think I probably saw it probably 10 times in my childhood. But he flew in for that high school reunion. I didn't know I had flocked to follow his until right before graduation.
This is that one. He's over for one from the floor.
He really knew it, but that night I went to the high school.
Jokic.
And I stood next door in the stadium and watched the graduation and cried for like 2 hours. And that night, I said, this is the last time I'm going to let anybody ever have control of my life. Man, I was crying. It was brutal, of course. And I was standing there just watching all my friends graduate. Some of the people, let's be honest, they wasn't that nice to me. They were calling me dummy and things like that. So I was kind of out of it. Then I went to summer school, and then from that point on, I got my act together. But the biggest problem was, my first few years in the NBA, I was such a because I was playing so angry because I was thinking about two people. Miss Gomez and my dad. Miss Gomez, I'm assuming is a Spanish teacher. Yes. And people said, man, why you play so angry and so aggressive? And I never told anybody until later. I said, man, every time I stepped on the court, I said, I'm going to stick it to Miss Gomez and my dad. And it wasn't until the spin incident in New Jersey, when I was sitting in a hotel room crying that night, I said, yo, man, don't play basketball to try to stick it to people. The kids who made fun of you in high school, Miss Gomez, first of all, it was your fault you flunk Spanish. It wasn't Miss Gomez's fault. It was your fault you flunk Spanish. And listen, your dad's that's on him, right? Play basketball because number one, you're good at it.
That's a big bonus.
It's just play. And that was like the turning point in my life. And the second turning point was probably meeting Moses Malone. Right. Because I was in college for 3 years, and I weighed about 290-ish to 300. I was always fluctuating right in there. And then when I got drafted by the Sixers, because I led the league in SEC rebound area, so I think I'm successful. Right? I'm in good shape. Right. But there's no reason for you to just wait here doing all that. Yes. And you know, Nick, because you've been a Hall of Famer, obviously. College shape ain't pro shape. Yeah, college shape ain't pro shape. It's a different animal. It is. And I remember I got lucky because Moses lived in the same building as me. Okay. And I said, Moses, I wasn't getting to play. I suppose, can I come see you tonight? He said, sure. What's up? I said, I'll tell you later. And I suppose, why am I not getting to play? He said, Charles, you're fat and you're lazy. I said, what? Oh, yeah, he was great. He's like E.F. Hutton. He didn't say much. Right. But he was such an elder statesman and so respected. He was like E.F. Hutton. Like every time Moses said something, because Doc spoke, Andrew Toney, Bobby Jones, those guys, Mo Cheeks too. But Moses never really said a lot. But when he spoke, that whole locker room, like Moses talking, shut the hell up. And when he told me I was fat and lazy, but then he said the next thing, he said, you want me to help you lose weight? And he said, I'll meet you before practice, after practice. And he said, let's lose 10 pounds. I said, okay. And then I got to about 290. And then he said, let's lose 10 more. Then I get to 280. Now I'm getting to play. Because I can sustain it. You can't sustain effort at 300. Right. So now I'm at 280. He said, let's lose 10 more. He gets me to 270, 260, 250. And I look back at that when I talk to kids about losing weight. I said, let's lose some weight. Because if he had said to me, let's lose 50 pounds, I'm like, whoa. But he did it in such a smart way. So let's lose 10 pounds. Let's lose 10. And then when I got to 250, the rest is history.
We all have our opinions.
I'm looking at your childhood experience. I read that your grandmother ran a bar. Well, no, she didn't run a bar. We had people come to the house, get drunk. No, see, so it was. And you think that's normal, right? And what's crazy about it, Shannon, it was a fight every weekend. Every weekend. Yeah, because dreaming about you. Yeah, probably. So that's what it was. So we didn't have a bar, okay, in my hometown. Okay, so every starting Friday. Pay period. Everybody, so now, everybody's trying trying to make extra money. And you know, once they start losing, it's going to be a fight because they start drinking. So my grandmother would go to Georgia every week and get cheaper alcohol. And me,
that makes him the
king. And they do shots. So I was kind of like the guy who bought the shots out. And then go back to my room. Charles, come in, I need another drink. But starting Friday around 6 o'clock.
They were okay to let him prove he could make that shot.
People would come over and gamble. And then once it started out simple. And then once somebody got drunk and started losing their money, it was always going to be a fight. And we did that every Friday and Saturday, pretty much my entire childhood. And that's how we made extra money, because you're not making enough money working in a meat factory as a maid. But it was crazy because, and my grandmother, she was amazing. But it was crazy. It's crazy thinking about it now. Right. Yeah.
What kind of lessons did that teach? Seeing your grandmother doing what she could to make ends meet. You see your mom doing what she can to make ends meet. There's war boys going on. You're not getting the assistance that you need from your dad. You're not getting the love, the advice, the discipline from your dad. So what kind of impact did that have on you?
Well, so I had started stealing.
Russell passes to Hayes.
And one night the cops chased us. That was the closest we got to getting arrested. And I remember when I was crawling on the ground in the woods because they chased us. They were chasing us and we were crawling. Must have crawled like 100, 200 yards. And I remember I had dirt everywhere and scars everywhere. And I was like, damn, my mother and grandmother are working their ass off every day and you out here being a crook.
It's stolen by Davis.
And then that's when I said, you know what?
Hayes dishes to Russell. He feeds it to LeBron. Here's Davis. Oh, and he pops it off the glass.
I had to give these ladies the love and the respect they deserve. So then I said, you know what? I'm going to just play sports. And what's really funny about it, I sucked at sports. I wasn't any good because I didn't have my growth spurt. Because people don't know that I was only 5'10" when I was a junior in high school. If I hadn't had the growth spurt, ain't no telling what I would be doing today. Because I was a 5'10" backup point guard. And then 1 year I grew from 5'10" to 6'5".
I mean, but at 5'10", you probably weighed what, 175, 180?
No, I was like 220.
Football player right now. You should have been a running back.
Yeah, let me tell you something. My friends make fun of me. I played football for one day. You know, football is my favorite sport, boxing, because I think it takes a real man to play football and box, because those are the sports you can really get hurt at. Right? And I was like, I played football for one day, and I was like, and I was just joking with the football coach later after I had my growth spurt, and later in life, he's like, I think I made a mistake putting you on the offensive line. I said, no, you made a mistake talking me into playing football, because I played the one day, and I just ran into a guy full speed for like 2 hours. It's the stupidest ever. And I remember I was sitting in the locker room, I was bloody and beaten up, and I had my head down. I was told it was the first anniversary of practice. And the coach says, I'll see y'all tomorrow. I said, wait, we're doing this? I said, I'm not doing this. I said, no, under no circumstances. I was the coach. And I went, and after practice, I went to the coach. I want to thank you for the opportunity. But football, right back in after that first day. This is not for me. This is not for me. Like I say, one of the reasons football is my favorite sport, I think it takes tremendous courage. That and boxing are by far and away my two favorite sports. Because you can't cheat in football and boxing. Basketball, you can skate on offense and defense and whatever. But if you're on a football field, you cannot cheat. Same thing in a boxing ring, you're gonna get your head knocked off. That's why I admire football players and boxers, because it takes tremendous courage to go out there.
You're born in Alabama. We understand the history of racism in Alabama.
Yeah.
Did you experience any racism growing up when you was in that small town of Alabama?
No, because
Murray outside.
The year I was born was the church bombing. You had the Selma massacre. You had the Montgomery boycott.
From down
my grandmother. In my town, I think it was a great place to grow up because we weren't in a small town. I don't think we really know what the hell going on. I've experienced more racism and seen more racism when I got out of there, honestly.
He's a guy you can trust taking these shots.
You know, I was one of the first 2 kids to integrate the school system. And we didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't find out until later. There was a guy named Mr. Allen who drove me and 2 other kids actually to segregate, to integrate the schools. But I never felt racism in the leagues. To be honest with you. That accent. Barry, I have one very heavy colloquial dialect that's indigenous to the South. Yes. Did people make fun of the way you spoke? Or did everybody speak like that?
In the first quarter.
I didn't realize it until I got to Philadelphia. You know, because I spent my entire life in Alabama. One of the great decisions I made was going to Auburn. Well, okay, so obviously, you know by now, I'm really close to my mother and grandmother. I'm going to stay in the box, right? UAB is 25-30 minutes from my house. Tuscaloosa is an hour 15 from my house. Auburn's the furthest way by far. It's like a legit 2 hours. So when I was trying to figure out where to go to college, UAB, led by the great Jay Bartow, made it to the Sweet 16. Alabama made it to the Sweet 16, and they both had everybody coming back. We came out together. Not only did they both make it to the Sweet 16, Alabama side and his Wally had Wally. So I'm saying to myself, man, I want to play, right? So I go down to Auburn, and I said, I'm looking around. I said, damn, these bombs done lost 12 games. So I asked Coach Smith, I said, you got a pen on you? He said, oh, what? You a big time to get ready to sign an autograph? I said, nope, I'm signing right now. But these damn guys can't play dead. Y'all done lost 12 games in a row. I don't see anybody out there who put fear in my heart. And that's actually how the whole thing at Auburn went down. I said, his sign was basic. You go sign autographs? I said, no. I'm signing a scholarship right on the spot. But these dudes cannot play dead. And that's how I made the best decision to go to Auburn, because I tell all these kids, some of these kids are dummies. I said, yo, man, look who they have on the team before you go there. Right. If you know there's a guy who's really good and you play the same position, no matter how much confidence you got, you're probably not going to beat him out. He's going to be bigger, stronger, more experienced. I said, the number one thing, I said, if you want to educate, you get an education anywhere. But the number one thing when you decide to go to college is playing time. Because this is going to be the first time you're away from home. If you don't get to play, college going to suck. Your grades going to suck. Your personal life going to suck. You really need to look at who's on the roster before you decide to go. So you said you didn't realize that you had an accent until you got the ability. Once you got the ability, did you ever try to change the way you talk or enunciate words? No, not really. Because, as you know, fame ain't like everybody. Trying to explain being in line out of fame, whatever words you want to use, trying to explain that to a normal person, like talking Chinese or talking to an alien. You're not a sports, you're a celebrity. But when I first, it's overwhelming. When it first happened, yes. I said, and you can't even prepare for it. I said, when they start sticking those cameras and you turn on TV, they talking good or bad about you. In Philadelphia on the radio, going to the black barbershop, hey, never go to a black barbershop when you're on a bad team. Ever. Hey, under any circumstances, I just never, the Woody brothers in Philadelphia, man, I played on some teams that suck in Philly. Doc and Moses. Anyway, never go to a black barbershop when things are going bad. They will tell you the truth. And even if it's not your fault, they're just going to tell you, y'all suck. Y'all suck. But no, I was trying to adjust. And a really important, a pivotal moment happened when I was with Dr. J. So my 7th year in the league, I'm starting to become a good player.
No good
and I hate when guys get on TV and say, don't get people think, blah, blah, blah. Everybody wants to be liked. But I was trying to make everybody happy. They started, because my first couple of years, they went to Moses, Dr. J, Marici, Andrew Tony, those guys, Bobby Jones. Like, I don't think I ever got interviewed my rookie year. So later my second year, I'm starting to get it together, learn the game slowing down for me. And Dr. J, I said, Doc, how do I talk to the press? He said, well, you gotta do it and figure it out. And they coming to you now. You turn into a hell of a player. I said, I want everybody to like me. He says, well, that's kind of an interesting question. Because no matter what you say, half people gonna like it, half people gonna dislike it. And I said, what does that mean? He says, that's the way this thing works. You can't make everybody happy. And then that was a turning point for me. I said, what if I just say my truth? He says, you might as well say your truth. Because even just said, what everybody wants to say, some people don't disagree with it. And then I changed my whole philosophy as far as like, just be honest. That does not mean I'm right all the time, right? But I'm trying to be fair and give my honest opinion. And I can deal with the repercussions. Because you said something earlier, whether people like me or not, they at least got like, you know what, at least Charles, even if I disagree with him, he doesn't have a hidden agenda. Because the one thing I hate about these guys, and you know I got this hate towards Skip Bayless.
There's so many guys that have unbelievable
especially being black.
But when you think about Kobe, he's in that category.
I think I'm representing something bigger. I think every black person on television is really powerful. Really, Mike Wilbon, one of my mentors, one of the best people I ever met, he said something to me one time. He says, when he first got the job at PTI, one of my favorite shows with him and Colin Howard, he says, man, I didn't realize how powerful television was. He says, I've been with the Washington Post for 25 years. I walk around, nobody say hello, kiss my, say anything. I'm on TV for a week. Hey, you're the guy from TV. And he said he had to learn, like, man, TV's a powerful thing. But the point I want to make as a black person, I'm really conscious of everything I say. You gotta be. Because there is a double standard. Because one thing that drives me crazy, when people use cold word describing me, you, Stephen A., guys like that, I says, and I want to be very careful because I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I want to make this point. I says, well, I'm curious. You don't use those type of words. You use words, and we know what they mean, black. When you talk about Shannon, Stephen A., and Chuck, I said, but when Colin Cowherd, Jim Rome, Mike Greenberg, who are great guys, I might add, when they say stuff, you don't use those cold words with them. And I says, so I'm very cognizant of like, okay, there's a double standard, so I'm really careful about some of the stuff I say. But I'm not afraid of anything because my opinion matters just like theirs do. Right? But I think
I know I got away
we
with
start to understand is that it's not what we say, it's the breaking them down of everything, of every word, of parsing it, trying to like, well, this is my favorite. Well, when I see shows like, well, this is what he said, this is what he meant. I'm like, no, I know what I meant. I said it. But I always laugh when they say like, well, he said this, but this is what he mean. This is what he was trying to say. I'm like, no, I said exactly what I meant to say. And mainly saying about people, I'm talking about other people. Well, this jock said this, because Jim Rome said something. Every time somebody says I mean no disrespect, you know what's coming next? Disrespect. Jim Rome, who's I really like a lot, he does a segment every week where he says that. He says, you know, it's time for the disrespect moment. And he always played the part, well, I mean no disrespect. He said, wait for it, you know what's coming next, disrespect. And I love that, right? When you a trash talker? Not much. Because I had too much going on in my brain. Because when you're 6'5", playing against a 6'8" guy, 6'9" guy, 6'10" guy, I got to have a strategy. You know, I think somebody said something to me one time. They went and looked at the numbers. I'm the only person in the history of sports who never played against anybody who was shorter than them. Because I played center in college, right? And then obviously in the NBA, I'm always going to be the shortest guy. And the shortest power forward in history. So I had so much going on in my brain. I'm like, okay, they bringing this guy in. He does this well. He does this. He plays me this way. Then they bring the other guy in. I said, well, he plays me this way. They're gonna do this. So I had so much going on in my brain. I mean, because like I say, when you can't out talent. I mean, if you're Michael, LeBron, Kobe, Shaq, you can out talent 99% of the guys in the world. But when you're a 6'5" power forward, you can't out-talent people. I tell people that you can't out-talent people at my size. You have to use your brain. Right. Did you fight a lot as a kid? No, because I was too little. You got see that's the thing that people don't understand. Like I was always small until I had the growth spurt. Right. When you like say when you're little too, you can't be going around fighting people. You're gonna get your kids. It was, you know, people always ask me though about the growth spurt. Yeah. I never had any pain, really. I like, cause when you wake up one day and you're 5'10", and the next day you're 6'5", like I never went through like this is the knees didn't bother you. It was really weird. It never hurt me. But could you tell that you had grown that much over the summer? I did not know it. That's what's weird. The coach said to me, "You grown over the summer?" I said, "I think I've grown a little bit." And then he's like, "You like 6'4.5", 6'5". And from 5'10", yeah. And the best thing though, Shannon, the best thing was, because the number one asset of my game was my ability to dribble. Yes. Because you can't post up guys who are 6'9", 6'10", but they don't want to move their feet. Right. So when I played guard all those years, that was probably the best asset to me when I got to play against those big guys. Yeah, because the big dudes. The one thing, like, it's hard to post them up, but they can't move their feet more than 1 or 2 times. And that was the biggest asset of my game, my ability to dribble.
If you grow that much in the summer, I mean, your clothes, you probably look like you're Bodine.
Well, that's the one thing about being poor. You're just dropping down.
You wear hand-me-down.
Because, we ain't gonna get you're gonna get your one suit for Easter. Yeah. You're gonna get a couple outfits for Christmas. The rest of the stuff's gonna be hand-me-downs. And also, when you're in a small town, it's a very close-knit community. So when you get down with clothing, it's always a thing. Somebody gets something. That's why I'll always appreciate growing up in a small town. Kenny grew up in New York. I'm not sure how my life would have been different if I had grown up in New York. But growing up in a small town, it was a really sense of community. Yes.
Everybody, I mean, and that's when I'm on nightcap, and I try to tell people this. It was always, everybody was yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. If you misbehave, miss such and such, you tell your tail on, don't get to it. And then she gonna go home and say, Larry, I had to whip that boy because he was being mad, or he was cursing. And then you got another whip. What happened to that sense of community, Joe?
Porter in the corner. Here's the three. LeBron grabs the miss.
We in the black community,
no defender in sight.
We just have to do better.
From downtown, good in the assist.
We got to,
LeBron.
number one, racism exists.
James has got 3
always
assists
has,
in the game.
and always will.
Knowing exactly where his guys are at all times. That's a nice dime from the King.
I tell people this.
11 points in the game.
Sports are a great thing for black kids.
And right away,
it's really helping a lot of us get out here and help them go back and make things better.
17
but you have to understand something. If you're born, and it's white poor too. Oh yeah, because it's really economic racism. Like calling people names and stuff like that, that's just silly and stupid. But economic racism is the biggest problem we have in this country. Because if you're black, the poor, white and poor, you're gonna be born in a bad neighborhood. You're gonna go to an inferior school. And I always use this analogy as if you play baseball, and every time you step up to the plate, you got 2 strikes against you. Shannon gonna get a hit. Chubb gonna get a hit. And we're gonna have a couple of hits, bro. Most people gonna strike out. Yes. Or you made a sweep. So I just think that we got to do a better job of holding each other accountable, except the fact that, hey, it's a double standard. But you can never give up. You can never be like, you know what, I'm tired. Because, let's be realistic, it's still better than it used to be, yes. It ain't perfect, but it's still better than it used to be. Check us out. When you got to Auburn, you weighed 300 pounds. The first 200 days in college, it's reported that you ordered 100 pieces. But you led the SEC in rebounding. Your 3 years you were there. You hold the record for the career field goal percentage at almost 63%. You was SEC Player of the Year and the Decade of the 80s. And you remember that Auburn's all-senior team. How the hell you do that at 300 pounds? Man, I have some serious talent, to be honest with you. And like I say, the college game is not near as fast. And you know, we just live in a different generation, a lot faster now. And, you know, you kind of, unless you get a fast break, because when teams score, you're walking the ball up and down the court. And it was really interesting. One of my coaches, Roger Banks, I struggled like the first week I was in college. This is ridiculous. Son, what is your problem? Because I averaged 20 rebounds a game in high school. Because I played with a really good high school team. And they never ran plays, so I had to get my own. And you go pass it back out, you can go. No, so we had about 8 players who got scouted. We had really good teams. We had really good sports teams in my hometown. Because, you know, a lot of times when people in small towns, they got like 3 high schools. One thing about my high school, we got one high school. You go K to 12 with the same group. So we always had good sports teams. You didn't go K to 12 in the same class, did you? No, I'm telling you, it was crazy. You see the same people from K to 12, right? And it's so funny how, like, we always had good team in football and basketball. Always had good team in football and basketball. And it never dawned on you, man, I'm really killing it. I'm playing, I'm averaging 13, 14, 15 points. I'm getting 10, 12 rebounds. Man, if I lost a few pounds, I might be able to bump that up to 2015. And that comes from United College. No, because when you... The toughest thing about a player, and you know this, and a team,
to get you there.
Kind of happened to my Eagles this year.
Murray's checked in.
Look, the
when they got out to like a 10-1 start, a lot of times when people don't understand when you're having success, you still need to get better as a player, as a team. And have, because you can have bad habits, but you have your team is so good you keep winning. So I'm not sure. Like I'm probably the only freshman that ever lead the SEC in rebounds. And then I led it every year, so I'm not thinking about flaws. I think I'm doing pretty good. So I'm not thinking about man, lose weight. I'm like, yo, I'm all SEC. I'm leading the league in rebound as a freshman, as a sophomore, as a junior. And I'm like, no, I'm good. And you know, actually, my coach tried to get me to lose weight, and we fought a little bit early in my career. We were really close to Davis because I had to go back and apologize. I said, you know what, you were right. You were right. I was wrong. I should have lost weight sooner. I could have been better. But, you know, when you're 18 and having success, you don't think anything is good. You think you'll be, yeah. So, it goes back to my thing with Miss Gomez and my dad, like, you know what, it's you. You know, I tell you, the one thing about being in the limelight, man, very few people have the ability to say, my fault, my bad. Yeah, they ain't a whole lot of people doing this. A lot of people kissing you. Yeah, very few people have the ability to say, hey, you know what, it's my fault, it's my bad. I was wrong. Because like I said, you got so many people kissing you. You got so many people on the payroll.
Full effect. And now we'll send it over to David Aldridge, who is standing by courtside. David.
Kissing.
Thanks, Kevin.
It's like, so you have to be self-aware, and that's the only thing I hate about life. all the dunk you did.
Like you said, we came out with
you get older, you get so much smarter and get so much wisdom. And you go back, man, what a dummy I was. And nobody told you to do it. Yeah. But you know, that's one thing about life that I really hate, that you don't learn all this smart stuff till you get older. Because there's so many people out there. There's so many people out there who make mistakes. They either die from or ruins their life.
What a pleasure it is.
And if you only get older, you're like, man, what I did back then was dumb and stupid. And I wish that more young kids would pick up, talk to people like you.
He ended up with 19 points, 5 rebounds,
because we've been through some stuff. Like when I watch you all the time, you talk about preparing for success.
Jack, let's get your take on Denver.
You talk about your time in Denver. You talk about your time with the Ravens, about trying to teach the young guys how to do things, take care of their bodies and things like that. I tell these guys, man, it's like
Kenny, how about what you
Zion. I like Zion a lot.
Well, the best way that
he reminds me. I mean, he's more athletic. He's more athletic.
Fight to get there.
The sooner he gets in shape, the better he's gonna be. Have you had a conversation with him? No, but I don't know him. But I try to tell him that on television. I hope he hears it. Don't take it as a criticism, because like he has got so much talent. And you can't get in shape during the season. No, you get in shape during the summer. Correct. And I see that he's lost about 25 pounds. That's what the reports are during the season. You got to do that during the summer. Because you got to be ready to go when the season starts. Because he is so explosive. Because that last game that he got hurt in against the Lakers, that's the best I've ever seen him play. But
he's been up in the air so often. Absolutely a pest.
I got in shape for $2 million.
Here's LeBron.
The money these guys are making today, I'd be damn near anorexic. $35, $40 million, I know. They'd be like, we got to get Charles to eat. He's anorexic. I was like, my first contract was 4 years, $2 million. Right. And I said, I lost 50 pounds for that type of money. I said, for 30, 40, 50, $60 million, they were like, yo, guys, Charles is losing too much weight. We got to make sure he ain't bulimic or something. I said, man, I just hope he listens and don't take it. Because guys who've been in this business like yourself and myself, man, this is just the best job in the world. But sometimes you need to take constructive criticism. But the problem is that a lot of time athletes, and I've been one and now I'm on the other side, is that we have people around us that tell us what we want to hear and what we need to know. Yes. And so a person that tells you what you need to know, you're less apt to move away from that person as opposed and keep the people that tell you what you want to hear around. They should tell him. He should see it. Because when I first saw him, I said he reminds me of Charles Barkley, but he's more explosive. Yes. But if he got down to 250, they'd have to change. It'd be like, because the thing he did against the Lakers that one game, he could do that every night. And that goes back to my original thing. Like, I could have a couple good plays when I was 300 pounds. Right.
Murray
but I couldn't sustain it. When I got to 250, I could sustain it. And I could go the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And I hope, these guys, and I hate to be the old man, because when you say something, or I say something, we hate, or we the old get off my lawn guys. I'm like, no, we know how this story ends. Let me tell you something. I know how every NBA story is going to end. I played against Bird. I played against Magic, Kareem, Michael. I know what it takes to be successful. And you know what it takes to be great. Yes. And you know the thing is, it's like, let's talk about drugs. I had a younger brother who was a junkie who died at a young age. When I talk to these young kids in high school and college about drugs, I say, man, it ain't a matter if, it's a matter of when.
At the end of the day,
it broke my mom's heart. It broke my heart for a long time. I said, man, I don't understand why you gotta do drugs. I just don't get it. And I almost did cocaine one time. Because, I had put my brother in a bunch of rehabs. And I was like, what's the fuck up with this? And I talked to one of my boys. I says, yo, man, I want you to give me some cocaine. He says, Charles, you're nuts. I says,
Oh, good on the triple.
They had some block coverage that turned into no coverage.
Pass to Reed. Porter with the steal. Pass to Jokic.
Man, my brother.
Oh my God! That's his 7th basket in 12
I ain't never had something so strong that I would give up the NBA
sees everything.
on my money. Saying, you know, I gotta do drugs.
And he knows it's killing him, but he can't stop it.
Because John Lucas was a great, great man. He said, I'm gonna tell you something about the junkie.
Puts up a deep three.
He says, if I put $1 million on this table cash, and a pile of cocaine over there, or crack, or whatever you want to say,
Murray dishes to
a
Gordon.
junkie would not say, man, I can buy a lot of cocaine with that money. He gonna go right for that pile over there.
The pass to
And my
Jokic.
brother died, I think he was 40 when he died. He got his life together. He got his life together, but he had done so much damage to his body. And it just gave out. And when I talk to these kids, I say, yo, man, it ain't a matter if, it's just a matter of when. If you're doing this drug thing, somebody in your family gonna get a call one night, and it's over. And I feel so bad for my mom, because she never got over it. Never got over it.
You come out, the 1994 draft. Now, there have been, 84 drafts. The 84 draft, Michael Jordan, John Stockton, Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon.
No doubt.
The first three were Hall of Fame. I mean, Olajuwon I think he went first. Yes. Jordan went third. Sam Wood went second. Y'all had Hall of Famers. The 85 draft, Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing, Chris Mullins, Charles Oakley, Joe Dumars. 87, David Robinson, Reggie Miller, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, Mark Jackson, Muscle. 96 draft, Kobe, Ray Allen, Steve Nash, Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury, Derek Fisher. And obviously the 2003 draft. LeBron, D-Wade, Chris Bosh, Miller. All Hall of Fame. What's the best draft?
And Davis sends it back.
Well, I don't know if you can say who's the best draft. You know, I give an example why I say that.
Russell from long range. And another
Tom Brady,
for the Lakers.
Joe
Well, you look at
Montana,
D'Angelo Russell, he's got a sweet
Dan
stroke.
Marino.
He can knock it down from three, but always
they're in the
seems
conversation of the greatest
playing at
quarterbacks
his
ever.
pace,
Pat
under
Mahomes
good
only
control.
is a second.
Now, here's Jokic.
Those guys ain't never going to be netting record books
Jokic catches his way
in
to
5 to 10 years. And they're some of the best to have already ever do it. The games have changed. The rules have changed.
You know, he should be getting
Doesn't
extra
make
attention from the
better
defense, not
or worse. It's just different.
Should we consider that when we're talking about greatness because of the rule change in football?
I think you
You know,
have
it's
to.
taken a big run, but
I
they
don't
were
care
able
who.
to get back
Think about
into
this.
this. Very impressive.
There's probably going to be 10 quarterbacks in the next 5 years.
It's
going to shatter all the records. And they're going to be
Well, you know, for me, the passing has
one-third the
been
player
fantastic
Tom Brady,
all night.
Joe
Everybody loves
Montana,
watching this style
Dan
of
Marino, Drew
basketball, where
Brees,
the
Peyton
ball
Manning.
moves and
Those
players
guys
move.
going to be, they
Those
probably,
fans
think
and
about it, in
even
10, 15 years, that probably won't even be that
that kind of
long.
action.
They won't even be in the top 10 yardage and touchdown passes because the rules have changed. And it's obviously just, now number one, they're going to pass it more, a lot more. But also defensive handicap right now also. So all the players you mentioned are great, great, great. But it is just a lot easier to play basketball. Because I tell people,
I can tell you that's not Nikola Jokic.
I played.
Coach Michael Malone said,
When you played them boys from the Pistons,
wondering why no one's talking
we
about
always say,
doesn't
call your family, tell them you love them, and goodbye. Don't tell them the chance you wasn't gonna make it out.
He's happy.
They were trying to hurt people.
Kevin, I'm happy too.
They had
You've always been
6
happy,
guys
D.A.
who used their fouls.
Appreciate the
You know what's so crazy? When I was watching that the documentary, The Last Dance. Some of those fouls will get you suspended for 10 games today.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And it was just one foul back then.
Yeah, Bill Laimbeer would have been out of the league for at least 30 games.
At least.
Because he was deliberate with it.
Yes.
Ain't no eyes or nothing.
The same thing with Mahomes, John Salley, Dennis Rodman. I mean, think about it. And you go back and Laimbeer, all the guys. So the rules have changed. They're not like say, I don't ever say things are better. But all these guys are great.
Good D by James.
And I was blessed to play in the generation because the 2 most important figures in NBA history.
Here's Davis.
Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
Russell picked up the assist.
If it wasn't for those two
Russell's got
guys,
6 assists on the
and
night.
Reese has something to do with that. Yes. Reese has something to do with that. It's a line. But it's still the best thing ever happened to the NBA because before then, the average salary there was $200,000.
Has gone 3 of 5 with the long
When
ball.
Magic and Bird came in, at first it was too black, too thuggish, too drug infest, and we were team delayed. People don't realize that. They don't even know that. NBA finals was going to take place. And he said, you got one game a week on Sunday. You did. I remember. You got one game a week on Sunday. And people now, you can go, we watch games 7 days a week. We own all the games. I said, no, you don't understand. That's how, and like I say, it was a long time ago, but think about it. The finals were tape delayed. And there was only one game on Sunday. And the average salary was $200,000. The average salary now is $10 million. We got, what's going to be crazy, we got 3 NBA players, I think, 3 or 4, making $60 million a year.
I think that's
In the next 5 years, we're going to have guys making 70, 80, 90 million dollars. It's going to be crazy. 80 a year, 80 a year to play basketball. It was crazy, Sheldon. That's how old I am.
Nothing else, just to slow things down a little bit, change it up somewhat.
Me, Doc, Moses, Bobby Jones, Andrew Tony, we're in the locker room one day, and it broke that Magic Johnson had been the first NBA player to make $1 million. We were walking around high-fiving each other. We could not believe that an NBA player made $1 million. And I'm like, and I'm with Doc and Moses now, who are all-time greats. They're high-fiving each other. They're like, we can't believe an NBA player making $1 million. That's how crazy it was thinking about money back in the day. It says it was reported that you didn't want to go to Philly so bad that in a 48-hour span you ate 2 Denny Grand Slam breakfasts, 6 pancakes, bacon, totaling about 1,600 calories, a vanilla milkshake, Kentucky Fried Chicken bucket, mashed potatoes, coleslaw, half the menu at Red Lobster, 2 McDonald's beef fillets, hard fries. I don't know why the hell you ate that. Had a Diet Coke to wash it down. 2 Texas-style barbecue sandwiches, a T-bone steak, baked potato, 3 desserts, repeated it for the next day, gained 20 pounds, also while drinking. What the hell you I could have been poor too. They had a really hard count.
Those are always better than a layup, so I'd agree with you there.
I'm with my agent. So you do your visit. The owner of the 76ers says, put me on the scale. I'm weighing about 295. This is about a month before the draft.
He's got 7.
He says, we're concerned about your weight. I says, well, I'm going to get in shape. I think I'm whatever, blah, blah, blah. He says, we want you to lose 10 pounds. We want you to come in the day the draft. Stop in Philly on your way to New York for the draft. So I go train for a month down in Houston. I think at the time I'm weighing about 282, 283, somewhere in there. I don't know if that's going to happen in a month. No, I got down. I was on like 12 pounds. Okay. He wanted you to get to 280. Okay, yes. Okay, he says, we want you to get to 285. Okay, so I go down to Houston, train for a month, and I'm like 282. And we get on the scale. He says, now, Chuck, we have a problem. I said, what's the problem? He says, the Sixers are opening. They're at the cap. They can only give you a 1-year deal for $75,000. I said, I didn't leave college for $75,000. Are y'all crazy? He says, well, I don't know what to tell you. He says, Sixers want to take you. I said, I didn't leave college for 1 year for $75,000. What if I get hurt? Right. I'm trying to take care of my family, set my family up for financial for life. Yeah. He says, well, the Sixers draft you. I signed a 1-year deal for $75,000. I said, what can we do? He says, well, we're stopping in Philly all the way to New York. Man, we went right to Denny's. I got a Grand Slam. I canceled workouts for the next 2 days. I got me a Grand Slam. We went out. I got me some shakes. Went to a big steakhouse the night before. Got me the big T-bone. got me some fries, got me a big old piece of cake, did the same thing the next day. I get back to Philly, we stop. I'm $2.98. The owner team called me, what the? And me and my agents looked at each other like, thank God we dodged a bullet. And if you go back and look at my face out of the draft, and that sweet burgundy suit I might have, man, when they said with the number 5 pick, the 76 select Charles Barkley, the look on my face, I'm in shock. And I'm thinking, damn, I left college with $75,000. I got to be the biggest bull in the world. And so we go down to Philly, and he says, you know, go to the summer league. And I said, well, I got no choice. So I go to summer league, and I start just whooping. I was like, I got this. And he says, okay, we're going to trade some players because we're not going to make you sign a one-year deal. And they traded Franklin Edwards and I think Mark Ivaroni. And my first deal was 4 years, $2 million.
You was on the court when Doc and Larry got into it. What caused that?
Man, first of all, I hate the NBA for that reason. They owe me $5,000. I'm still pissed to this day. Because one thing I would never do, is hold a guy for another guy to hit him. And I've been mad. I'm still mad that they owe me $5,000 out of silver. So, Larry Bird was a great trash talker. And he's like, Charles, y'all better get this old man off me. I'm telling you. And he's just roasting Doc. He's like, and this is Doc last year, I think. He was right there. It was either last year or the year before. He's killing Doc. And he's like, Chuck, I'm telling you for the last time, you better get over here because I'm going to kill this old man. And it goes on up and down. And Larry just killing him. And Doc had just had enough. And I just had them, when they come together, and I just kind of grabbed Larry. I'm not even looking at Doc. When I went back and looked at the tape, Doc was nailing this. I was just trying to pull guys apart.
Yeah, but you know you can't fight. You can't grab one unless somebody grab you. Hey, you grab him.
I grabbed Larry because I didn't want him hitting Doc.
But ain't nobody grab Doc.
I know. But you just said something. If I grab Doc and Larry start pumping, I can't go back to Philly. I can't go back to Philly. So I grabbed Larry to stop him from hitting Doc, and Doc went away. But Doc, it started because Doc was like, Larry's like, yo man, y'all better get it. He's screaming it to everybody from here. Y'all better get this old man off me. I'm going to kill him out here. Larry's one of the, I tell you, Larry Bird was one of the best trash talkers ever. So one of my teammates, Leon Wood, was great. He's an NBA official. So we in the room getting ready for the three-point contest at an All-Star game. Larry walks in and says, which one of y'all gonna come in second place?
To review the lineups, matchups, or call a play.
Y'all heard me? Which one of y'all gonna come in second place? Damn, that's like my first real talk to him. Ooh, that sounded pretty aggressive. He won though. He won. I mean, he was one of the best at trash talking, man. When he came in there and said that, you could have heard a pin drop. Everybody's all excited and everything. Everybody was geek. Yeah, was geek. Larry walked in and said, which one of y'all gonna come in the same place? Second place, you could have heard a pin drop.
You probably played, when you look at the era in which you played, Magic, Bird, Kareem, Michael, Olajuwon, Patrick, Robinson. What was that era like? Because that was that era made it possible for this era, and I don't know if this era gives that era enough credit, and maybe that era doesn't give this era enough credit.
Well, that's a great question. We should always give credit to the guys who came before us.
The Lakers making a switch here.
Always.
Woods checked in.
Because if it wasn't for those guys, nobody would be. Y'all making this money because y'all were born at the right time. You're not better than Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Kareem, Bill Russell. You're not better than those guys. Well, let me ask you this. Let me push back.
Second from the line.
Those guys. But I'm saying average. Yeah. If you look at the teams now, guys are more skilled. You have more guys that can be equivalent of Reggie and Larry.
Yes.
On a team. Just be appreciative of that generation. Okay. I got none to love for these young guys because number one, they're great. Yes. But they should always have great appreciation for the older guys. Because those guys did all the heavy lifting. It's kind of like being black, in my opinion.
Now here's Murray.
I have so much love for older black people, absolutely. Because I don't know what it's like for people to spray people with water hose, sing the dog, sing it out, or tell me, we're taping this in the Four Seasons. We couldn't have been here. They said, take your black up to the Motel 6 and do this interview, right? Like, if you can't, every time I meet an older black person, again, example, one of my mentors was Joe Morgan. Okay? He called his dad one day. He said, Dad, we're going to meet Jackie Robinson tomorrow. He said, what do I say? He says, just tell him thank you. And I think every time I meet an older black person, I want to say thank you. Because y'all did all the heavy lifting. Y'all did all the heavy lifting. What they had to endure. I can't even imagine. Like, I can go to any restaurant I want to. I can stay in any hotel I want to. I don't even know what it's like when people say, well, you can't stay here. You or go to the back of the bus. Or the movie theaters. I'm old enough to remember the movie theaters, the black sat up top. Yeah. You couldn't sit down low. Yeah. I'm old enough. I do remember that. And so the analogy of every basketball player today, just say, yo, man, I want to thank you. Not even me, because I made a good living. But every time I meet an older guy, I'm like, yo, man, thank you for what you did for me. But every time I meet Magic and Bird, I tell them guys, man, thank y'all. Because in sports, there are a lot of great players. But there's only a few guys who move the needle. Correct. Like in golf, there are a lot of great players today. But Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Gary Player, Phil Mickelson, and Tiger Woods, those guys took the sport to a whole nother level. And like, there are a lot of great players, but very few players are like, oh, I got to watch that guy on television. Right. We need to do the TV deal because of that guy. And all you want from any generation is, number one, leave it better. Right. Like, I'm disappointed in these guys today with this low management.
Between them. And what a
for me, next to the big-time alley-oops and monster throwdowns, passes like that
we're not nurses.
Are probably the next
we're not in the
thing when it comes to
service.
sweet-looking
People who
NBA
work like hard every day. If we play a stupid basketball game for 3 or 4 days a week, you're not going to play more than 3 or 4 days a week. You got to make 30, 40 million, 60 million. I'm pretty sure the nurse don't want to go to work sometimes. She can't load manage. Yeah, she can't. I'm pretty sure teachers can't load manage. I said, man, just play basketball. You got the best shoes. Can you imagine Bill Russell playing in those canvas shoes? Do Chuck Taylors. Can you imagine? No support. And they played every game for $3,000 a year. And you can't, just like, of course you're sore. I'm pretty sure doctors and nurses are sore. But man, just to be appreciative how lucky and blessed we are to do something stupid and make $1 gazillion. How different would your career be if you were drafted and played in the era of Michael Jordan?
I think the official got that
one. Won a title.
Now here's Caldwell.
That's a great question. I don't know. But I'm glad I played in this era. Because number one, you want to play a great player, the greatest, or it's a debate between him and LeBron. Some people still think Kareem. You want to play in that because number one, what Michael did. Going back to what we talked about, having respect for the older generation. If it wasn't for Michael,
and it's blocked.
I wouldn't make millions of dollars from Nike a year. LeBron, Kobe would make millions of dollars from Nike a year. If it wasn't for Michael Jordan, we all wouldn't have commercials. People act like athletes always did commercials. No. Number one, none of us had a shoe deal until Michael Michael. None of us shot commercials until Michael.
Defensive battle, to say the least.
Whether you want to debate who's the greatest, that guy is the reason we make. That's the reason and think about this. When I was in there, it was really funny, that movie Air, because I'm technically in the movie because me and Mike are the same generation. His mom and dad having the forethought to say, he gonna get a piece of the shoe. And then Matt Damon, who plays Son, says, well, we don't do it like that. Miss Jordan said, yeah, we do it like that. And because of that, I made millions of dollars from Nike and just from and also from my signature shoe. So I lost to Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he might have gotten away with that a few years ago.
It would have been great. And the only thing I ever felt bad about, to be honest with you, I couldn't win the 76ers, not 76ers Suns championship. Because in Philly, they had one. In Houston, they had one. I have always felt bad that I wasn't able to bring a championship to Phoenix, but that's my home. They gave me, when I got traded there, my life just changed dramatically. Man, all I wanted was some help. Because when you're a great player, man, it's hard to go out there. Because there's a couple of things that happened to me that really, because I was getting so depressed in Philly. Because I was saying to myself, damn, I suck as a basketball player. I says, we get beat in the first round every year, and I'm like, I know I'm great, but our team wasn't very good. But I'm like, hell, man. And I'm having my private moments. I'm talking to my friends. I'm like, man, am I not good at basketball? I think I'm great. Blah blah blah. And then when they called me for the dream team, I was like, damn, I am pretty good. I'm like, I am good. Thank you. And then, when I got traded to Phoenix, they gave me Dan Marley and Kevin Johnson. Those guys, like, when I got there that first day, I said, guys, I think I'm the best basketball player in the world. We're going to play the Bulls for the championship.
Suffocating D.
Michael Jordan just has some more help. I'm just as good as him. They look at me like I'm crazy. They're like, what? I think I'm the best basketball player in the world. Y'all gonna find out right now, because we're gonna go ahead and start kicking some. Right. I told him the first day, and it was a turning point of the season. And I know Michael well. We got off to a good start. We played the Bulls, and he just kicked our. And I was saying to myself, he know we gonna play them in the finals. He wants to sit us for this. So after the game, I told us, guys, we got to get better. That guy sent me a message tonight. And I didn't like the message, but I received it. Yeah, I received it. And then we went on like a 12-13 game winning streak, finished with the best record in the NBA, get to the finals. And I said, I get a chance to prove my point.
Well, I tell you what, guys,
I'll tell you, Sean, that's the first time in my life I felt like, I said, damn, that guy's better at basketball than me. Because I had my chance to showdown at the OK Corral. And it was an honor. Same thing I say, but Bird and Magic, Kareem, it was just a great time.
The Dream Team. Let's clear this up. The Dream Team was supposed to take the best 11 NBA players, or the best 12 players. They ended up taking 11 NBA players, and they took Christian Laettner. Yes. A lot of people believe that Isaiah Thomas was one of the best 11 NBA players. A lot of people believe Charles Lee was better than John Stockton.
I think he was a better player than John Stockton.
Well, then why didn't he get to go on the team?
Well, you know, Shannon, number one, that is an amazing question because I'm so glad I get a chance to straighten it out.
Yes, please straighten it out.
Number one, they never asked me about Isaiah Thomas. And it just came out, and I can't speak for the other guys. They never asked me personally about Isaiah Thomas. And Isaiah Thomas probably should have been on the team. And they asked Michael Jordan, did he have anything to do with it? And then it actually just came out in the last year where he said, I'll play as long as Isaiah don't take it.
And then you got to have him. You just want to oversee. You got to take the biggest guy.
So, I don't know this personally, but I think it was Jack McCallum who said he had it on tape. and he played it. Because I've been asked that question 1,000 times too. They never asked me about Isaiah Thomas. But apparently Michael didn't want him on the team. Yeah, whoever Michael didn't want on the team was not going to be on the team. But I will tell you something, man.
Easy to get to the rim.
I've been so lucky and blessed in my life. Ain't nothing like the Olympics, right? It's the most cool event that I've ever been to. We had no idea how big it was going to be when we got there, because I tell people that was probably a 12-foot window, maybe 15 feet, when they could see us get on the bus. Man, it was 5,000 to 10,000 people out there every day just to get a glimpse of us. Mainly, obviously, Michael, Magic, and Bird. Even though Bird was playing, but they would just scream to watch these guys walk. And then when we took off, there was a helicopter above the bus, there was a police car in front, police car in back. There was 2 guys on motorcycles, and one on the back had a machine gun. There was people along the highway holding up signs. It was, and we're like, whoa, this is some real here. This is a real deal. And we were like, yeah, man, this is what would be this big. Not even close. Nobody did. We had no idea. We because we never really experienced anything like that. And then we were like, whoa, this is a big deal. I mean, people on the highway holding up signs. Hundreds of them, right? But when we walk out every day to go to the game, it was 5,000 to 10,000 people. They were like 50 yards away, and they could only see us walk like 12 to 15 feet. But they was screaming. It was crazy.
They just don't want to get 100
but it was being at the Olympics itself. It was such a cool one. And I tell people, when they're playing that national anthem, and when me and Bird and Magic, all the guys overseas, and they play the national anthem. Yes, and we're all getting goosebumps. I mean, it was surreal. You do realize what you guys did is that you birthed an era. The Nikola Jokic, the Luka Doncic. Those guys came, they probably wasn't born then, but their parents and people and coaches, they saw that they birthed the business. Because at the time, if I'm not mistaken, the only guy that I can remember in that era was like Sabonis, I think Patience, Sarunas, Barcelona.
God damn!
It's not winner, like it, I don't mean that up negative term, but it wasn't the influx of foreign European players like it is now.
Well, shout out to the great late David Stern. I think that was his vision, to be honest, to make the game international. And when it was really funny, like the first time I met Dirk Nowitzki, he was like 18. And we were overseas, this is a Nike trip. And he's got like 30 at halftime. And I got like Scottie Pippen and some other good. We got like Nike was always ahead of the curve, taking us to foreign countries. Dirk's got like 30. And Scottie was like one of the best defenders in the world. He's like, I got it. I got it. Dirk finished like 50 something. You ain't got it, Scott. And I said, yo man, who the hell are you? And he got that big German. My name is Dirk Nowitzki. I says, just name your price. We're good. He's like, what? He said, I want you to go to my college. And I said, hey, go to Nike guys, get us information. And they called me back a week later. No, because he said something. He says, I got to go in the Army. I said, yo, man, you 7 feet tall. You're not going in the damn Army. You're not going in the Army. Nobody going to have no 7-foot person in the Army. And and they called me back like a month later. I said, Chuck, you know, they changed the rules. Now you're going to go in the draft. I said, okay. And, you know, people don't even realize this. You know, he didn't get drafted by the Mavs. He got drafted by Milwaukee. And I hate to say this, and I apologize to his family. It's probably going to go down one of the worst trades in NBA history because they traded for Robert Tractor Traylor. They did. And Traylor was a nice kid, rest in peace. But that's probably going to go down. That's a bad trade. Because Dirk's up until Joker, it was the greatest foreign player ever. Right. And when the Joker finished, you were taking him over Olajuwon as foreign player?
different because
you got Hakeem did play on American soil.
Yeah.
These guys came straight from
straight. Yes.
The NBA.
Shout out to Hakeem. It was an honor and privilege to play with him also. But listen,
He's just the best forward player.
Yes.
He's a pass dirt. He passed dirt.
Listen, because they might win. I think they're gonna win this thing again.
His overall size and strength really sets Davis apart from the rest of his peers.
His career since he obviously I played in Denver, and I've been following him. And I watched him in the bubble in 2020, and I watched Anthony Davis came into it. But now it's over. And he's on a different jump. I mean, the guy can give you 30, 20, and 15. Like, there's nothing he can't do.
I know I got away with a lot of those in my playing days, but that was 40 years ago.
Yes.
Murray against Russell.
We were making a big deal because Aaron Gordon played fantastic. Yes, fantastic. Jamal Murray played great. And then we were looking at the stats last night, like,
is a missed opportunity for mid-range for sure.
24, 15, and 9. That's the easiest 24, 15, and 9. And we didn't mention him.
13 shots.
We did not even mention him. We made a big deal. We interviewed Aaron Gordon because he had career highs in points and assists, rebounds, excuse me. And I was looking at the stats. I said, man, Joker had 24, 15, and 9. It was so quiet. We didn't talk about it. But,
teams can get a little
there's two interesting stories in the NBA that people never talk about. Steph Curry and Joker. People, you talk about people who deserve their job and people who should get fired. You know that when the Golden State Warriors had to make a big decision between Steph Curry and Monte Ellis, yes. And most people got mad they traded Monte because Steph was always hurt. And same thing with Joker and Nurkic. They were like, y'all should keep Nurkic instead of the Joker. And you think about how different. One guy got 4 championships, and he's one of the greatest players in NBA history. And this guy's gonna be
about to get his 30th.
Yes, you talk about changing the entire dynamics of your franchise of history. That's amazing. That we made the right decision.
And you'll win the second round.
I know, but they had to make that decision. And the same thing, because they knew that Monte Ellis and Steph, that you can't play 2 little guards like that. And people were mad on both accounts. That's how crazy this life is.
Chuck, the athletic had a poll. And this guy has been winning most overrated for like the last 5 years. And that's Rudy Gobert. Why does Rudy get so much blame?
Well, I think that we don't respect defensive players.
I
love ESPN. We don't show block shots unless it's Anthony Edwards. Block shot, chase down. LeBron chase down. We never show defense. We show guys making shots and dunking. Like, ESPN is amazing. Don't get me wrong, but in a 2-hour game,
the kick out to Porter and stolen by
they show
LeBron.
you a minute, maybe a minute. I doubt if they put the highlights of the game last longer than a minute, right? They ain't showing Rudy Gobert blocking shots or changing shots.
Women blocking.
Yeah. Because they're going to show them making threes and behind his back and everything. But, we don't show defensive players. Like, you think about it.
Now, here's your
in the NFL, we talk about the Bosa brothers, Michael Parsons. We very seldom talk about defensive players, right? Because defenses are pretty. Like, unless Michael Parsons making a sack or something, one of the Bosa brothers, Hutchinson in Detroit, Aaron Donald, who's amazing. Shout out to Aaron Donald, man. It's been an honor and a privilege to watch you play. But we only show offense.
Yeah, because now it's an offensive era. They don't let you play football like they had when they had Buckers and they had LG, Ray Lewis's, the Roddy Lonsdale to decapitate people out there. They don't want to show that side of the game because they're trying to clean it up and say, look, we're trying to stay away from, we want to make the game safer. But you want to see all these one-handed, you're going to see every one-handed kid that happens. You're going to see that.
You're going to see that.
This is the greatest player of all time. It seems to be a two-man race now. Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Nothing.
Kareem is the most underrated player in the history of the NBA. He was the all-time lead scorer, the third lead rebounder. He won 6 MVPs, 5 championships, and that make it seem like the man was some sauce. Yeah. Well, I got nothing but admiration for Kareem. First of all, the activist he's always been. Yes. You know, I find let's talk about the Michael LeBron thing. They played in different eras. They're, in my opinion, they're right there. It's either A or B. Okay. But I will say this about LeBron. Number one, I like him a lot as a person. I think he's a nice guy. Never said that about Michael Jordan. He'll kill you. He'll kill you. I've said there's 2 things. I put Kobe
26
right there
left
also.
Here in the fourth quarter.
But Michael and Kobe will kill you. LeBron's a nice guy. Right. Michael and Kobe will kill you. They played against their sister. She gonna get her kicked. LeBron, he gonna beat up his sister.
And I think they can start that celebration right now.
I think it's the greatest story of any jock who's ever lived.
And there's the pass to Jokic.
If you go back and look about guys who came out of high school, people forget Kobe struggled early. He did. Kevin Garnett struggled early. LeBron James is the only one who had his first game. I said LeBron James is the only one who didn't struggle right away. He came in and was a good player. He wasn't great right away, but he was a good player. But also, in this generation, where everybody's got a cell phone and people out to get you, he's never gotten in trouble.
Take it away, David.
Thanks, Kevin. Nikola, coach has talked about the growth of your leadership.
Expectations. Whatever you thought he could be, because he was the chosen one, on the cover of Sports Illustrated 17. So whatever you thought he could be, he's eclipsed it. He's eclipsed it.
Well, it sounds like they're listening.
To never get in trouble in this generation.
Thank you.
Like I say, everybody's got a cell phone now. People are deliberately trying to get you. Yes.
This is Kevin Harlan thanking you.
I think it's the greatest sports story ever, in my opinion. Single mom, didn't go to college. They gave the keys to the franchise to an 18-year-old kid. It says, we're only going to go as far as you take us. And like you said, he's been a model citizen, both on and off. Obviously, the building the brand, Jordan gave everybody the blueprint. And we see Kevin Durant, we see the Steph Curry, we see the LeBron James starting production company, being active outside. Give Junior Bridgman some credit too. People don't know who they are. Well, every time I see Junior, I say thank you, because Magic is kind of taking over now. Oh yes, but Junior was a good player, but his portfolio, owning all those restaurants, probably being the first billionaire athlete, to be honest with you. Him, Dave Bing, and also is amazing businessman. But every time I see Junior Bridgman, like, for a guy who didn't make a ton of money. That's what's so impressive. Yeah, like, it didn't have the name. Didn't have the name to learn how to handle business. He's probably got 500 to 1,000 restaurants now. And like, does it so low key. Does it so low key. Like, every time I'm around here, I try to pick his brain. Right. Because it's different now. Because these guys make so much money. Yeah. I said, back in our day, I says, dude, and I'm not poo-pooing on this either. I want to make it clear, because when I say it, it's gonna sound stupid. The most money I made was $5 million. That was my last year. Right. I says, now that's below the minimum. I says, to be a businessman in our day and become a billionaire, you are great at business. Right. You are great at business. And he wasn't a name